Just a quick reminder guys, these narrations are best enjoyed with headphones on. Hey guys, welcome to another versus battle. This time, two senior figures of the DGR community, Robert King of Gibraltar Stevenson, butts heads with Fraser Sierra Snake West. Who will emerge victorious this time? Let's find out. Right guys, let me give you the lowdown on what happened. When I bought Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist, Fraser went in with his request to review it. However, when Crusader Kings 3 went on Game Pass on its day of release, Robert went in with his request. It boiled down to a community vote. The community voted and the results of it was announced during my review of Final Fantasy VII. Yu-Gi-Oh! Outvoted Crusader Kings 3-5. Now, Robert has challenged Fraser to a head-to-head to prove that he had a better taste in games. Of course, I was sitting on the sidelines, toffee popcorn in hand. Today, I went into my local game to buy enough Steam credit to get Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 complete. Robert decided to take full advantage of the fact that it was his birthday on yesterday in order to get his review posted sooner. Ah yes, the classic it was my birthday yesterday and birthday wishes approach. Well played, Robert. Well played. Anyway, let's get on with this. In the dark days of World War II, an elite strike force was formed, which is to be deployed behind enemy lines, conducting various missions ranging from sabotage raids to espionage. This unit was formed in June 1940. During the course of the war, the Commandos has played a pivotal role in the Allies' victory over Nazi Germany. For example, the Commandos aided members of the French resistance to sabotage various targets to disrupt German rail, communications and power networks in the area of the invasion, which was a factor of the success of the assault on the Normandy beaches, codenamed Operation Overlord. You play the part of the leader of the Commandos as you carry out missions of similar nature in locales such as German-occupied France to aid the Allied effort to defeat the Germans in Europe. The accessibility scores are as follows. Right, to kick things off, visibility given 9.5. The game has no colorblind mode or filter. To be honest, there is very little need for them. There is no color-coded elements that will be an issue for a colorblind player. Also, it is very hard to track where the commando you're controlling is. However, there is a way to zoom in the camera which focuses on his immediate area. However, this can pose an issue as a German soldier can detect your commando from outside the area that you're focused to. Obviously, this puts you at a disadvantage. Next up, audibility, give it 10. This game has a subtitle function which can be activated via the game's options menu. Also, if your cover is blown, i.e. a German spots one of your commandos, symbols will appear to warn you. That way you know to get to cover before he raises the alarm. So there is no great issues in terms of playing this game with a hearing impairment. Next on the agenda, mobility given 9.5. This game is quite simple to play even with a controller. Pyro seems to have the controller based interface pretty much nailed down. The controls is pretty simple. You move the left stick to move your commando around the battlefield, right trigger uses weapon, and if it's held, the options menu similar to Grand Theft Auto 5 appears, allowing you to select and change weapons on the fly. Obviously there could have been a lot more options which your commando can do with a mouse and keyboard. In terms of the PC version, this game is pretty much accessible to a player with a mobility impairment. You can use the mouse to control your commandos and manage weapons and inventory. This version of the game also has controller support. I understand that playing a strategy game or tactical game with a controller seems pretty mundane, but certain people prefer the familiarity of a controller. Also, for players with certain mobility impairments, controller support for a PC game is pretty much a deal breaker. And for the breakdown, It was 4.5 out of 5 for console and a perfect 5 out of 5 for the PC version. Last but certainly not least, gameplay I gave an 8. In short, the key mechanic of this game is stealth. Instead of moving your forces around the map, engaging the enemy head on like in Tom Clancy's EndWar, the best way to play this game is to utilize each and every commando's abilities and weapons to navigate through the map, preferably without detection, and taking out enemies silently and discreetly. This game has a very steep learning curve, so if you're new to the Commando series, get used to dying. You will do this a lot. However, when you take the time to master the mechanics and utilize each and every commando's strengths, this will be a very satisfying experience. In summary, Commandos 2 HD Remaster is very unique from other tactical games on the market. This is due to the game's reliance on stealth makes it stand out from the pack. This game is pretty cheap to buy on Xbox along with Praetorians. This could be a very good purchase for a person who is into the tactical game genre and is looking for a challenge to play on the run up to the festive season. And the overall score is 92.5%, a pretty high score, but the question is it high enough to stop the mighty Blue Eyes White Dragon? Find out next week. Now, to talk something a bit more morbid but important, like it or not guys, our second lockdown seems to be the case of when, not if. At this time, we are more susceptible to stress, depression and even suicide. According to the Samaritans, 421 people take their own lives in the Republic of Ireland, which was an increase of 69 compared to the previous year. Suicide rates in other regions of the UK are continuing to rise, and both men and women. The suicide rate for females under 25 in England and Wales has increased by 93.8 since 2012. The highest level last year. Over here in Scotland, which is the highest suicide rate in the UK last year, a staggering 16.1 deaths per 100,000 persons was attributed to suicide. These figures was according to the Scotsman. Earlier on this week, a family member talked about taking her own life. Anyone that talks about suicide should be taken seriously. Now guys, riddle to me this. Which 3 words can prevent suicide? Here's a hint for you guys, it's not don't do it. It's actually are you alright or are you okay? I'm suffering from slight depression. I recently graduated from university, but due to the coronavirus situation there is very little jobs available. However, friends of mine is actively helping maintain my positivity throughout this pandemic. Seriously guys, don't suffer alone. Even a simple chat, or a socially distanced cup of tea over Skype, or simply playing video games with your friend, it's effective when recovering from poor mental health. There is more support available than you know. For example, the Samaritans. You can contact them over the phone on 116 123. Again, that's 116 123. Now Greg, don't you worry. I haven't forgotten about your request for Mafia Definitive Edition. I will try my best to post it tomorrow or sometime over the weekend at the latest. Alright, this is Spartan Commander 1990 out. Roll out, Spartan Company.